Good morning, students. I welcome you all for the online learning platform for the course Warehousing Automation. So, we are in the process of learning this course through online platform, and we have completed Unit 1 through a series of lectures, and now we are on the verge of completing Unit 3, and in today's presentation we will discuss about the last topic, that is warehouse automation solution in a virtual environment. So this particular presentation will take us to a new concept of implementation or something before the implementation of automation solutions, how we can come out with some sort of solutions. Why? Because all these concepts what we are going to use is going to be dealing with good amount of investments. So heavy investments are necessary in this regard. So therefore the important concept what we need to adhere here is, before the implementation of such costly solutions, we are supposed to affirm whether the solutions what we are going to offer is going to be highly effective in terms of cost, in terms of functionality, as well as in terms of technicality. So that is where the prime need necessary for this particular virtual environment is essential. And obviously virtual environment means it's going to be a part of digital process automation, where before the actual physical process automation we are going to cross check whether the physical solutions what we are going to implement into the existing or traditional case, whether it will fulfill or suit the requirement or not. So this is what we are going to learn in this particular presentation. So with this primary objective of implementation of physical process automation is going to be verified, cross verified before the actual implementation by means of some sort of virtual environment we are going to do. That is, directly we are not going to jump into the physical process activity. So prior to it we are going to do some sort of digital activity. We are going to cross check, we are going to ensure the functionality, the working of all these things, then we are going to come for or migrate to the physical case. So that is what the learning here, that is what the takeaway here. So with this preamble we will get into the further discussions. So warehousing automation solutions in a virtual environment refer to the using digital technologies to design, simulate, manage and optimize warehouse operations without needing a physical setup, or okay, this is case number 1. Case number 2, or before implementing the changes in a real warehouse. Okay. So now how to understand this is, again let us get into a very simple analogy to understand this particular concept. See, we wanted to construct our house. Okay. We are interested to construct our house. Now we have got a piece of land, having getting all the clearances from the local government. Now we are free to construct. Will we directly get into the process of construction? Ultimately the answer is going to be no. So we do some sort of planning. So after planning all the things, if you are satisfied with the plan or the layout, are we directly getting into the construction in present day means, again the answer is going to be no. Why? Because we wanted to know further details. Today that is what a term called as a BIM, building information module. So if you construct your house, what will be the amount of sunlight, the quantum of sunlight, what we can expect inside the house during daylight. Okay, in the broad daylight, how much light we can expect, what is going to be the wind direction, okay, how the wind is going to circulate inside the house in the absence of any artificial wind blowers. Okay, natural wind, how it is going to come. Okay, then how do I park my car? Okay, we might be having say a mid-segment car or an hatchback. Okay, maybe in future we might be interested to go for some SUV type or sedan type cars. So today the things are like this, where we get into virtual environment and then we do all sorts of simulation, not to understand here, not after construction. So after constructing the house, you do understand that the sufficient light is not coming or sufficient air is not there, natural ventilation is not there, means we can't demolish the house and we can't again reconstruct, or we can't modify by means of doing some sort of structural damage. So this is what we need to understand here. So we have got a system. So that system, before you directly come or you implement all sorts of changes into the system, we are supposed to digitally cross verify. So that is what today's engineering is all about. Okay, not after implementation. Okay, before implementation, prior to the implementation, we are supposed to come out with some sort of solutions, and we need to identify the potential drawbacks what we can encounter in the present design what we have got. Okay, I hope you might be clear in this regard. So here what is the thing we are going to do is, we have got a traditional warehouse. Now we'll come for our warehouse example. So we have got a traditional warehouse. For example, you wanted to employ some sort of robotic systems for the case of pick and place. Now, having a huge investment in this regard, directly we can't buy a robot and we can't go ahead with the implementation or installation. Or after buying a robot, we can't search in want of controllers or in want of some other hardwares or softwares to accomplish the task. So what we are supposed to do is two things. First, don't buy. As such, don't buy any sort of products. So what we can do is, let us get into some sort of digital platform. Use a digital technology, design how it is going to look like. Then simulate the process. Okay, what will be the number of products the robot can handle? Then you manage it. You try to improve the performance at least digitally. Then optimize. Finally, optimize all these things. If you are very happy with the performance of this system, then we can actually buy a robot and then we can do all sorts of other things. Till then, don't even think of implementing any advanced solution as such. So this is first case. You can digitally you can verify, then you can implement, number one. Or else with this digital solution itself, you can hold, or you can do some sort of rethinking into the or reiteration into the process. So this is what virtual environment is all about. Okay, there are several softwares are there. So in our college, in our CAD lab, we have got two softwares. So one software is by name Visual Components we have got, and the other thing is Delmia we have got. Okay, Dassault Systems Delmia we got. So we have got two softwares which can be used for the case of such virtual simulation for warehouse cases. Okay, not only warehouse, the capability is high, but still warehouse, for the case of warehouse, we can go ahead with this. And there is no particular software only for warehouse. As such, for factory simulation, there are a few more softwares are there globally used. One is Technomatics developed by Siemens, and another thing is AnyLogic. Okay, so these all are the softwares globally used in this regard, and within which we have got two softwares in our own CAD lab. So warehouse automation, the moment when we discussed, we learnt that automation means a cluster of technologies will be used in order to minimize the repetitive tasks with an aim of minimizing human intervention. Some cases, of course, least possible intervention. This is what we discussed earlier. Now, what all are the possible automation systems which can be incorporated in a warehouse? Means the first, in the reverse hierarchy. Okay, in the reverse hierarchy, the first is ASRS, what we learnt in the earlier presentation. So automated storage and retrieval system, which is going to be a completely, it is going to be one particular aspects which has got 11 modules, and we discussed all these modules. So it is going to feed the, it is going to be the highest possible form of warehousing automation. Okay, then robot picking system. Okay, we'll be having traditional partially, and in between we'll have some sort of robotic hands to accomplish the task of picking and placing, or some cases even packing. Then conveyor systems for the case of intra-bound logistics within the warehouse. For the case of logistics, we just go ahead with some conveyor systems. Again, we discussed a lot with this conveyor systems in the earlier part of unit 3. Then the next case is inventory management software. So it is going to be a pure component of digital warehousing, where the main purpose is to monitor and control, as well to record the flow of inventory, especially with respect to components what we consume on day-to-day basis or even hourly basis. So it is going to just collect the record. It's a AIDC based concept. Then the next higher level system of local movement is fleet of robots, maybe in the form of AGV or in the form of AMR. And final thing is, for easy data acquisition, we just go ahead with RFID or barcode scanning systems. So these all are the different solutions what we can expect in a warehouse automation solutions. So Before implementing all these concepts, we just aim to digitally simulate the process and to get the required results. If the results are satisfying and encouraging, we'll be going ahead with the physical implementation. So that is what the virtual environment is all about. So these all are the concepts what we are going to physically, before implementation, we are going to do some digital simulations on a specific platform to know the performance. Okay. So now, to get into broad definition, what is virtual environment for warehouse automation? Okay. See, it is actually a broad spectrum. What goes by in English saying that known as a tip, unknown as a ocean. Likewise, virtual environment for the case of warehouse is going to be one of the upcoming or disruptive area, which is going to completely transform the way how warehouse was thought of. Okay. So earlier case, warehouse was considered to be one particular area where full of chaos and confusions used to be there. The arrangement was considered to be haphazard, okay, but those things are being broken myth, and today it has completely got revamped thanks to the latest technologies. So basically, what virtual environment here we can is, we are going to just mirror what is happening physically, okay. So in short, it is going to be called as digital twin. So we have got a hardware setup. For the hardware setup, we are going to mirror the same in the form of digital setup. So likewise, we are going to do it. So digital twin, that is what called as a digital twin. So digital twin can be defined as, it is a digital representation of a physical environment. So digitally you are representing a physical environment. So that is what you should know in this regard. Then the second case is virtual reality. See, VR or AR, and today VR and AR put together called as ER or MR, extended reality or mixed reality. Okay. So what are the essence is to know about the nook and corner of the system. So what is happening inside the system? So how to know the bottlenecks, thresholds in the system, but not getting into the system. Physically, I will not be getting into the system. In our own digital location, we will directly get into it. So that's where it gets the term called as virtual reality or augmented reality. And again, thanks to IIoT, so industrial Internet of Things is slowly penetrating into warehousing automation case. Of course, it's not there in our syllabus, but today that is what is happening in industry. Okay, so everything comes under automation by means of wireless communications, because thanks to the microcontrollers present in the IIoT, so those components are highly capable of understanding and communicating as well transmitting the data wirelessly. Wired connections are no more. It's all going to be a myth maybe in future. So all these things again makes the virtual environment into an interesting aspect. So think not only with respect to a career point of view, even a research point of view, all these topics has a very good scope. So those three were with respect to digital case. Now 3D simulation software, the fourth one, 3D simulation software. So as I told you, there are several softwares are there. So again, I will repeat the same things. So visual components, what we have got, Delmia again we have got. So the things are not with us are Technomatics as well, AnyLogic. So these all are the four softwares dedicated for the case of factory simulation, and warehousing automation is going to be a one subset among the factory automation. Now, the next, cloud-based warehouse management system. Even for such software cases also simulation is possible. Not only for the case of hardware, even for the software cases also such simulations are possible. And again, today AML are playing a very crucial role into the warehousing automation for the case of simulation, for the case of optimization, for the case of modeling, mathematical modeling, or even without a mathematical model, even an experiential model is also possible. So now at the end, what is the thing is, to summarize in very simple term, we have got a physical environment. We wanted that physical to be completely free from all sorts of errors. First step is design the same physical environment into a digital environment, number one. Second, simulate everything, whether it is functioning the way how it is supposed to function with respect to physical perspective. Think of, so that is done. Once everything is okay, try to fine tune the system. So fine tune the system, then everything is okay. Finally, optimize the system. Why do we do optimizes? Beyond which nobody can improvise the system. That is, some sort of saturation comes into it. So how are we going to do all these things is all about virtual environment. Okay. So now what is the thing we can go ahead is, now we have got a model which is very good in testing. You need not to do it on a physical system. On a digital system itself we can test, we can train, we can optimize. So there is no physical risk involved. Okay, we need not worry about physical risk. Now what is our task is, what are the things we have got on the digital platform, just blindly implement the same into a physical setup, thereby things are okay, things are working well. Okay. And of course the ultimate aim is we can minimize the cost. Now, with respect to these softwares, we'll just go on a very superficial case. So for digital twins, NVIDIA is there, Omniverse or Exotech, Adverb, these all are the softwares available commercially. So the capacities like this, they are having real-time data-driven warehouse replicas for planning, monitoring and optimizing. The advantage is they can maximize the flexibility, and real-world scenario things we can go ahead with analysis. For the case of simulation, so as I told you, SimCAD, FluxySim or AnyLogic or Technomatics, all those things are there. But specific to warehouse means these two softwares have got independent module in this regard. So that's where FluxySim and AnyLogic finds their place here. So they can build, test and optimize warehouse processes from receiving through shipping. So all the activities inside the warehouse can nicely be monitored. So they are risk free, and of course they are suitable for rapid prototyping. So emulation, for the case of emulation, see, emulation is nothing but adding some business function to the warehouse, okay, with respect to cost, with respect to finance. So they can replicate everything same, and it is going to predict the performance, okay, function prediction is possible. So confident issue free rollout, and IoT enabled. As I told you today, IoT is finding very good application in terms of warehousing automation. So lively we can do all sorts of things, and not only with respect to tracking, even with respect to inventory management tracking on rack basis. Individual racks we can go ahead with. So all the things we can do. The main advantage is it can be remotely operated. So we can be elsewhere and remotely we can operate it, and predictive maintenance is also possible. Now, what all are the potential benefits we can tap out of it when we go for warehousing solutions by means of virtual environment? First thing is reduced risk. So we don't have any sort of risks. Why? Because digitally we can confine everything. We can confirm everything, whether this will work or not, whether our requirement will be met or not. So all such things can be digitally, it can be verified. Why? Because let me put an example in this. We buy a conveyor, we have decided to go ahead with tortoise shuttles, let us assume. Okay, we purchased some involving huge amount, we have just purchased a conveyor. Then we understood that that conveyor is not getting fit. Okay, the four ways performance operation is not possible. No, again it is going to be a drawback. Or we purchased some AMR. So after purchasing and during installation, we understand that the turning radius of the AMR is not appreciable. That is, we don't have space. The AMR is unable to turn within the available aisle space or aisle configurations what we have got here. Now, which one will we modify? We can't cut down, we can't trim the size, we can't reduce the shape of the AMR. It has been procured. Now we should go for something new, or else other case we should go for some other thing. What does that some other thing means? Go for configuration, reconfiguring the layout. Again, it's going to be a costly affair. But here we can do everything. So risk we are going to minimize to a greater extent. Then faster implementation, because we knew the spots. So what should be the height, what should be the size, where it has to be located, the orientation, everything is being known. So therefore faster implementation. So it can be used to validate and refine designs or softwares. There are several softwares or there by name Silico, or leading to quicker and safer deployment. So safely we can do everything. We can give the layout in the form of blueprint and we can directly implement. The next thing is cost benefits. Okay, so cost wise, yes, after buying and then rejecting the part, so here itself we can come out with the thought process whether the thing can be used or not. So therefore return on investments is going to be on the higher side. Then continuous improvement, so we can go ahead with identifying the key KPIs, key performance indicator, in the software itself. In the software itself we can go ahead with the identification, then we can go ahead with the fixing or the freezing of the KPIs, and then we can continuously monitor. So we can get the analytics part done here on a very safer case. Okay, so these all are the benefits what we can go ahead with virtual environment based warehousing automation solution. Okay, so now before we conclude, let me summarize. You have got an idea. You wanted to convey or convert the traditional warehouse into a digital warehouse. Okay, we are supposed to postulate or come out with some sort of solutions. Directly don't implement the solutions. First design the existing warehouse physically. Whatever the thing we have got, you just do everything in the form of digital software. Go for any software first digitally, you implement them. Do all sorts of interested physical process automation, not into the system, into the digital model what we have did. Understand the functioning, understand what all are the potential drawbacks or challenges or concerns you can face or you are facing in the digital platform itself. So once you are getting cross checked with all these things, come out with some sort of solution. So after all the solutions, you can just go ahead with implementation of the same what you are confined with respect to digital case. So digitally you have did something, you have proved something, you have optimized with that particular layout, blindly implement everything into the physical cases. Therefore we can reduce risk, we can save cost, we can enhance the performances as expected, and finally we can fix the KPIs and we can consistently work in this particular regard. Okay, so with this presentation we finish unit 3 completely. So unit 3 dealt with respect to planning and implementation of warehouses. So how to go ahead with, we just learnt everything in this particular regard. Okay, so any doubts? So students, please note it down. During our offline classes we shall discuss the same. Okay, so thank you for your presence. Thank you.